Hey everybody, my name is Dan and welcome back to Going With The Ganongs. If you're new around here, we're a family of 4 who moved off-grid onto our 38 acres of land, and for over a year now, we've been taking things into our own hands. From building our cabin by ourselves with no experience, to having to get our own water and finding a way to get power, we've had to figure it out on our own. And sometimes, it's a pretty slow ride. In about 1 month from now, it'll mark 1 year since we officially moved into this cabin, and as you can tell behind me, the cabin is far from finished. But slowly and surely, over the next few months and years, we're gonna finish this cabin, and that's only the start of the endless projects and dreams we have for our land. Over the last year, we've definitely made some progress on the cabin and on the land. A lot of things that may seem small to the viewer, but to us have been very important, like building a shed. But there's a couple really big things that we want to get done before the winter so that our second winter in the off-grid cabin can be just a little bit nicer. Now, if you saw our last video, and if you didn't yet, go check it out. We talked about some of our favorite parts and most challenging parts of having lived officially off-grid for over a year now. And one of the main things that came up in that video and is a daily thing for us is water. We have to truck in our water or catch our water. We do have a stream that we can use for showering, but otherwise, for dishes and drinking, we need to bring water in right now. Obviously, the plan would be to have multiple sources of water, but everything comes with due time, and those just haven't been set up yet. And the other aspect of water that a lot of people wouldn't think of when you don't live off-grid is disposal. Now, last year when we moved into the cabin, this wasn't even here yet. This was made through the winter and we were already living in it. But as you can tell right here, we do have a sink in here, but the sink just runs into buckets. Now, these buckets have a pretty good capacity. We can go about 2 days. This is after 2 days, really a day and a half of use, and they need to be emptied. It's really not that much of an inconvenience to have to empty them, but every day I have to take the time to carry these into the woods where it's far enough away that we won't attract animals and the smell won't be anywhere near us, and dump them in the woods. So clearly it's doable. We've been doing it, but it is going to be a lot easier through this winter if we do not have to empty buckets. We've also been using this temporary tub that's pretty much like a small portable pool. We have a little submersible water pump that hooks to a shower head, so we've been able to shower in here. But whenever we shower, I have to lift this thing up and dump it back into the pot so that we can get rid of the water. So in today's video, we are going to share a huge step in handling the disposal of water, and that is our graywater system. We started this system way back in the summer by trenching, and we worked and chipped away little by little, and over the last week, we were able to wrap up and finish off the outdoor section of our graywater system. All right, let's get to it. Let's show you the work we've done on our off-grid graywater system to get us one step closer to being that much more comfortable. Alright, so as you can tell behind me, we've dug a trench. You can see Luca just went under the cabin. That's where everything from our shower, our 2 sinks, so kitchen sink and then bathroom sink, are going to hook in right there. And then we're going to have a pipe that comes out to here, and we're going to have just an off-grid, really graywater leach field kind of system. There's tons of people who have done it. So my original plan was to have a pipe come out to here and then do a barrel that's deep down into the ground and do layers. So do like crushed rock, maybe wood chips, crushed rock, sand, crushed rock, something along those lines. It's kind of like a filter down into the ground. Unfortunately though, I started with that plan and I hit a huge rock, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get out by myself with a shovel. So I might have to go with the other plan, which would just be taking one of those plastic barrels, cutting it in half and then hooking them together, and the pipe comes into the top of those, so there's lots of room for water to come in and kind of fill up if it gets a lot of water at once. So now that there's the change of plans, I'm going to start widening this section here. There's actually one big boulder in there that I have to work around. The one that's in the ground is a lot lower though here, so should be able to work with it as is without moving it. Okay everybody, we are officially at the stage where we are ready to put our barrel cut in half down here in the hole. I just cut the barrel and the camera battery died while I was doing it, so we don't have any footage of that. But the barrel's cut. What we need to do now is see if it fits in here properly, and if it does, we'll cut out the two bottoms, zip tie the thing together so that it can stay, and get it placed down in here, and then get a hole in it for our pipe to go in, and then we're just measuring things, trying to get our pipe at the right angle and everything so that water will actually flow in. We can try testing it and stuff like that. And that's pretty perfect.
Et voilà.
I know some of you watching this are probably going to say, why didn't you use a jigsaw? Or why didn't you use a reciprocating saw or any of that? Every once in a while, I just like to have fun and make things harder for myself. But now that I feel the accomplishment of getting this janky side done, I think I'm going to go get my jigsaw, and this one is going to go a lot quicker. All right, the little Blue Eddy AC 180 is low on charge, but should have more than enough juice to let me cut the top of this barrel off. I need to drill holes here and then zip tie them together so there's just this big open dome. Just put it pretty much where it needs to go. All right, so I have this at a place where it seems to be on a pretty good grade. I dug out way too much dirt. Where the barrel is back here, that was as deep as I could go. And so the pipe just is gonna have to go at the height it's at. So we're gonna have to fill back in underneath this pipe. I think I might throw in some rocks just to get some sturdiness under there, and then throw in the dirt. And it seems to be at a pretty good spot right now. When we picked up the pieces for this, I wasn't there. Megan had somebody in the store help her, and I don't think they got 45s like I asked for. They look like 30s to me. What we're gonna do, I got a clean out because I wanted to have a clean out. We'll get under and show you what I have going on. I think I might do it this way, and I'll tie in here coming out of up there, and this side, the clean out is technically backwards probably right now, but I think I'll either put a cover on it or I might just leave it as a vent, and then we can have a bit of a vent. Maybe I'll have to vent that out, pipe it out outside to have the vent go outside, but we'll see. I think that should work. What I think I want to do right now though is go get a little bit of water, and nothing is glued together right now, but a little bit of water, put it down here and see if things flow that way properly, because we want to make sure the water flows where it's supposed to before we glue this all together. So let's go get some water and test it out. Go down, look up by the barrel, and put your ear on it to see if you can hear it. Look, you gotta let me know if you can hear it.
I can hear it coming.
It's coming out! Luca just tested for me. Luca, did you hear the water come out?
Yes.
All right, we have a good angle. The water went all out into the barrel. At the end, I used the level just to see, and it's just outside of the lines on one side, so it's not really, really steep, obviously, but it's, I think, just perfect. Alright, well, this is my first time ever doing any type of drain. I feel like it's going well. I do realize though that this pipe is probably a little too high to the surface, or too close to the surface. We'll see. In the end of the day, the good thing about living off grid, doing all this stuff yourself, and it all being kind of on the smaller scale, if we find that this isn't working or something's wrong with it, it isn't that big of a job to dig it up and correct what we did wrong or what isn't working. So we're gonna have to test it to know if it works, and then hopefully through this winter it'll serve its purpose. Water's flowing out of it properly. I'm trying to do my best to get it all secured at just a good enough angle that water will continue to come out. Alright, so this barrel pipe is now connected. Under here we have what we need, and at this point the level is still good. The pipe isn't moving down or anything. I've compacted it with my feet as best I can, and we'll do one last little test of water before we cover this thing back up, but I think we're pretty well ready to put the dirt back on it. Call this section of the drain done. I can't believe it's taken me so long to just give this thing a shot. It's really not that hard of a project, but sometimes it's intimidating when you're doing something that you're not used to doing? Other than our one little mishap.
What's mishap?
One little problem. Other than that one little problem, it's worked out pretty good. No. Why?
Keep going. Look, the barrel is gone.
And there we go. Everything's covered up. That's part one of our drain system done. The next part is going to be getting under the cabin and plumbing in some drains for the kitchen sink, for the bathtub, and for the soon-to-be bathroom sink as well. And there you have it. That is the first step in getting our gray water system set up and being able to dump things down the sink, shower inside without having to empty things out. Now obviously the first winter will give us a test of what the system's really like. It is a small system, so if there is ever problems down the road or anything that we need to handle, it won't be too hard to dig up and handle by ourselves. And that's one of the glorious things about doing all of this by ourselves, off-grid, small scale, is that if problems arise because we're just learning while we're going, we're going to be able to find a way to fix it. There will be a part 2 come out once I get the materials and the confidence to do the interior piping and under the cabin to get things all tied in together, but we absolutely will fill you in and show you when we get there. So we're going to make sure that we keep you in the loop, keep the videos coming, and show you the progress that we're making over the next few weeks and months before the snow flies. But that's going to end it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.